Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome to my home. My name is Lynn. I am glad you're joining me. Oh my word, I have gained a ton of new subscribers. Hello to everyone that's new, that's joined the family. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for inviting me in your home and allowing me to chit chat with you. So we're going to have a little quick talk. I say quick, you never know how it goes. You know, when friends get together, we like to talk. So we're going to talk about the cheapest and most versatile meal that we can make. So if you're interested, grab your blanket, grab your coffee or tea. Let's sit down on the couch and have a little chit chat. So how many, you can raise your hand, are on a budget? How many of you might be living paycheck to paycheck or close to it? How many of you maybe have no paycheck? You know, funds are really tight. How many of you are just finding prices a little steep in the grocery store? We're all trying to, I just texted my sisters the other day and I'm like, I'm bored with what meals I'm making and I'm looking for something that's easy and inexpensive. So I was looking for some tips. So my one sister jumped right on the bandwagon and I'm getting text messages like crazy and follow this one and check this out and so on. So money is tight. We still need to eat. You know, you can give up your cable. You can give up your cell phone. You could give up a lot of things. You could sell your car and get a cheaper car. You could do less driving and use less gas, all those things. But there are certain things in life that you can't give up. You can't give up sleeping and you can't give up eating. You have to eat. Now, we don't have to have 3 meals a day. It would be nice to be able to do that. But there's no, written law that you have to have 3 meals a day. And sometimes many people can't afford 3 meals a day. Or as you get older, I'm finding out that you don't need as much food. So maybe do a brunch and a dinner or, something along that line. Graham and I, if I'm off on my day off, we'll like to do a later breakfast and then like a earlier, late lunch, early dinner and break it down into 2 meals and we're content. So why talk about all these ideas and not tell you what I'm thinking? So here's my story. Here's my 2 cents on the subject, and I'm hoping that it intrigues you enough to plant some ideas in your brain to go, I can do that. I love hearing somebody else's tips and ideas because it's not always that I'm going to copy that exactly, but I can apply that to my own life and see how it fits. So breakfast is the cheapest meal to make, the most versatile meal to make. I think you can't go wrong. Okay, let's stop there. So let's say you make steak for tonight for dinner, or you make hamburgers and hot dogs, or you make spaghetti and meatballs and salad. Most likely you wouldn't want to eat that for breakfast. As Americans, that's not something that I wouldn't sit down necessarily for breakfast and have leftover spaghetti and meatballs. Now, I've heard many people have cold Chinese for breakfast, leftovers, but you know what I'm saying. Most likely, we would not eat dinner leftovers for breakfast, maybe lunch. If I make lunch and I make tuna fish sandwiches, I might have that for dinner, but I don't think I would do that, have a tuna fish sandwich for breakfast. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, let me shoot you out some ideas. Fall and winter are coming. We're looking for some yummy food that's going to fill our stomachs, that's going to make us feel that warm and cozy vibe. But I need something that's going to sustain me for the morning to get me through, but also something cheap that I can stay on budget, easy to prep, easy meal prep. Like how many of us work full time or are just living life full time and you just don't feel like having to, I don't want to cook 3 meals a day. I don't want to have to cook again. One thing I've been doing for the past 2 years is prepping breakfast once to twice a week, and we have plenty. Okay, so let me give you some ideas of things you can make, why I think it's a good breakfast, lunch, and dinner idea, how you can change things up, and I will have a number of these recipes up and coming on my blog, which is resumeofamother.com. www.resumeofamother.com. I will be having those coming up. I've had so many people say, please post your videos, please post your recipes. I'm not a gourmet cook. I'm a simple homemaker, wife, mother, career woman, whatever you want to call me, who comes up with basic things because I don't like to fuss. And I want simple and I want cheap, but I want yummy. Is that fair enough to say? So here's some of the things I like to do. Maybe take down some notes and go, ooh, you know, you can check out my recipes on my blog. You can Google other recipes or come up with your own, you know. And here's some of my favorites that I like to make in the fall and winter. Oatmeal. Okay, oatmeal's cheap. If you go to buy, you can buy oatmeal at the Dollar Tree. Like if you have to, they sell brand name oatmeal at the Dollar Tree. You can get oatmeal pretty much at Dollar General, Walmart, and any grocery store. Oatmeal you can get fairly cheap just about anywhere you go. Yeah, oatmeal's kind of boring. Well, I'll tell you, you can decide how boring you want to make it. You can make plain and simple oatmeal. We like to do oatmeal and maybe do like a breakfast bar, lunch bar, dinner bar to change it up. Maybe this morning you have plain oatmeal, but tomorrow night you want to use the leftovers and you want to make an oatmeal bar. What do you mean oatmeal bar? Well, maybe have some dried fruits, some nuts, you know, raisins and cranberries and walnuts or pecans. You can put maple syrup on it or brown sugar on it or regular white sugar on it. Add a little butter and a little milk and warm that up. You can do all kinds of chocolate chips. You can do whatever you want and spread that out. Now, if it's just yourself, maybe just, you know, pick a handful of each thing. If you have a couple of you in your family, put out little bowls of all these things and oatmeal and make it kind of a fun evening and, you know, add toppings. What are you making? Get some fresh pumpkin puree and you can add that in there. You can add a sliced banana in there. Oh, apples in there, applesauce in there. You could do so much. Baked oatmeal, that's one of our absolute favorites. If you've never made a baked oatmeal, hands down to me, that's the way to eat oatmeal. I bake it. We have it for a couple days. We cut a square, we microwave it, warm it up, and boy, put some milk on it. Oh, just that itself is delicious. Then you can add the same toppings if you want. You can make the oatmeal in the mason jars, overnight oats. I don't particularly like that, but that is another alternative. You can add chia seeds and you can add, you know, all kinds of other little things, flaxseed to it, and add your different flavorings. And so many people have come up with little recipes for each one. Fresh blueberries and fresh raspberries and strawberries on it. Do you get the idea from a bag of cheap oatmeal? What can I do with that? I have had many times I've had oatmeal for dinner. Leftover oatmeal at the end of the week, you have this oatmeal left over because you made regular oatmeal and like, well, now what do I do with it? Make oatmeal muffins with it. They're great. I love leftover oatmeal so I can make oatmeal muffins. They're absolutely delicious. A little peanut butter on them. So good. Have I convinced you? Oatmeal's cheap and oatmeal is a great food that you can make in various ways. What's another thing? Eggs, just plain eggs. I am not an egg eater, so I'll eat eggs in other ways. But eggs, you can make sheet pan eggs so that you can make egg sandwiches, you know, with a sausage on a bagel or something like that. You can make hard-boiled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs is a great snack. It's a great meal in itself. You could turn it into egg salad. You can put it on a green salad if you wanted. You can do scrambled eggs. A lot of times I'll just do scrambled eggs and then Graham will add that to other things that we do. You can, you know, ramen is cheap. If you had ramen and you had leftover scrambled eggs, you can make a nice scrambled egg dish that way. Add a few vegetables if you want. If you have rice, you can cook up the rice and you can add the scrambled eggs to that. So much you can do with eggs. Eggs right now, I wouldn't say they're cheap, but they're fairly cheap. So I would definitely consider doing eggs. Breakfast meats, breakfast sausages, bacon, pork roll or Taylor ham if you come from New Jersey, Canadian bacon, all kinds of things like that. Different kinds of breakfast meats. Now, if you want meat as a protein, if you were to buy a steak, a roast beef, chicken, whatever, they are more pricey. So if you're trying to get some meat into your diet, breakfast meats usually are a lot cheaper. Sausage links, those brown and serve sausages, a lot of times I get them for 99 cents at Stop and Shop, or two for $3, $1.50 each. They're on sale. So you can go pretty cheap with breakfast meats. And if you're a family of one or a family of just a couple in your home, they can last you a long time. If you were to get bacon, cook up that bacon, fry that bacon up. Oh, just the smells on a cool morning when it's fall or winter and you got bacon in the house. Spread your bacon out, have a slice or two, and then use that bacon for other things during the week. Make a bacon sandwich out of it, so on and so forth. If you have the sheet pan eggs, you can do that with a slice of bacon, slice of cheese, make it on one of those cheap 2-ingredient biscuits, or get some English muffins or some bagels and things like that. You can do that as well. And then save your bacon fat. Don't ever throw that out. It's a good source for cooking with, to replace oils and things like that. But if you don't have a lot of money and you want something warm and yummy, take that bacon fat, cook it down, make it into a liquid, add your flour to it, add milk if you can't afford milk, or maybe have powdered milk, or just do water or water down the milk, and make a gravy. Just make a nice bacon fat gravy. Make your biscuits, pour it over your biscuits, and you have a great meal. And if you don't, I'm not a baker, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to, 2-ingredient biscuits, self-rising flour, whether you buy it pre-made self-rising or you make regular flour into self-rising, very easy to do. You add your heavy cream, you've got your 2-ingredient biscuits. They puff up nicely and they're delicious. Oh, right, so much that you can do. Pancakes. What do you mean pancakes? Pancakes for dinner? The other night, I just came home, and it was one of those nights, we're driving home, Gavin had bowling, and I'm like, I'll just stop and pick something up. And I'm like, no, Lynn, you're not stopping. You just had 2 Instacart orders. Your refrigerator's full. There's food in the house. Go home and cook. I didn't feel like cooking. I didn't want to do anything. Gavin was resting, long night. Graham was taking a nap, and I needed to make dinner. I had to think. German pancakes, Jericho pancakes. I think there's another name for them. I don't know. The ones that puff up in the oven and then they shrink back down. Listen, they're filled and packed with a lot of eggs. Good source of protein. It's delicious. It's like a custard texture if you've never had it. So delicious. So I made that for dinner. It hit the spot. It was perfect. And then for the next 2 days at work, I packed a slice up like a piece of pie. I poured some maple syrup on it. When I got to work, I popped it in the microwave. I had a great breakfast. Now, one day put that with a side of meat. The next day have it plain. Another time add some fruit to it. You can change that up how you have that. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's a great meal, and it freezes well. And any of these things that I'm talking to you about freeze well. The oatmeal freezes well. The eggs freeze well. The breakfast meats, once they're cooked. Cooked or not cooked, they freeze well. The pancakes freeze well. You can make regular pancakes. You can add the fruit to that. You can make peanut butter pancakes. You can make, change that up. You can make French toast if you don't want to make pancakes. Oh, pancake muffins. They're one of my favorites. Instead of making pancakes, I put them in a muffin tray, and then you have little mini pancake muffins. They're great. You get a little dish, you put your maple syrup or your pancake syrup. You're watching your favorite show on YouTube called All Things Home with Lynn. Think of that. And you sit with your pancake muffin and you dip it and you eat it and you dip it and you eat it and you wipe the dribble from the extra pancake mix or pancake syrup and, all that. Oh, so good. Same thing with French toast. You can make French toast. Bread's getting a little dry, you got to use it up. Use it for French toast. Don't throw that bread out. French toast freezes really well. You can pop it in the toaster the next day if you have to warm it up, or in your air fryer or in your toaster oven. Great way to do it. Same thing with that. If you want to change it up a little bit, you're tired of the same old, cut it into strips and then add a little cinnamon and sugar on it, and you have French toast strips. Or cut them into take the bread and cut them up and make them into little nuggets. Same thing as the pancake muffins. You've got little nugget of French toast strips, or French toast nuggets that you could also have. Do you get the idea? There's so many things that you can do. If you make the 2 ingredient biscuits and you have gravy over it one day, then use the bacon and maybe a slice of cheese and even a slice of tomato and make a little sandwich the next day. You can use those biscuits if you have the eggs to have an egg sandwich or have an egg salad sandwich. There's so many things that you can do with this. It's just never ending of the ideas. You can make French toast casserole. My last thing I'm going to tell you, hands down, is probably one of my most favorite versatile breakfast slash anytime meal is grits. I'm not a big grits eater plain, but I love it when I add cheese to the grits. So you have grits. Grits are cheap. Make plain grits. There's a meal. Add cheese to that. Cheddar cheese, whatever kind of cheese you want. Add cheese to the grits. Shredded cheese, shred it up. It's delicious. A little salt and pepper, a little butter. Ooh, so good. Side dish for ham or any other kind of meat, but just in itself, it's delicious. Now take it to the next level, which is what we do often. Add a couple eggs to it. Beat that up with the cheese, with the grits, and add some of your favorite breakfast sausage. So if you cooked up some sauces like you would cook it up to if you're going to make sausage gravy, and I like to use the hot sausage. Adds a little extra spice to it, and you mix that in with the grits, with the eggs, and with the cheese and the whole 9 yards. Bake that in the oven. It comes out, grits can be a little dense. When you add the egg and it fluffs it up, it's like a nice spongy, with that cheese in it and the sausage in it. And like I said, I'm not an egg person, so if you're not, these are things I can get eggs into for that extra protein for me, but I don't actually have to taste the egg or feel the egg or the texture of the egg. Grits, cheese, eggs, and sausage baked in the oven, and make a grits casserole. By far is probably one of my most favorite. And you say, but Lynn, I'm a one person. How am I going to make this sheet pan of eggs, and I'm going to make this dish of baked oatmeal, and now you want me to make a casserole with grits, and what am I going to do with all this food? Well, there's 7 days in a week. You can make all of it and switch it up and change up the toppings on them and change the way you do things. And, one day eat it this way and one day eat it that way and change it up. Just like I said, egg salad versus a fried egg versus a scrambled egg versus a sheet pan egg, all kinds of ways you can do this. But all of this freezes really, really well. So eat what you want, freeze the rest, and then maybe skip a couple days next week and make simple muffins, and maybe have a bowl of cereal and do that for 3 or 4 days. You'll be sick of that, and you'll be glad you have that stuff in the freezer because you want something a little bit more tasty, warm, and yummy. So I hope these give you ideas that you can run with for your fall and winter pantry stock up. So start thinking getting oatmeal, getting grits. Cheese freezes well, so put it in the freezer now for when you need it. Make sure you have some eggs and some butter and some flour. Whether you can get milk or powdered milk or the containers of milk of the Dollar Tree, that works great. Get yourself some breakfast meats. They do sell some breakfast meats at the Dollar Tree, definitely at Dollar General. And most of your local grocery stores will always have some type of breakfast meat on sale. Get some things for, maybe some nuts and some berries and things like that. They have small packages of those things at the Dollar Tree. A little tin of mixed nuts is $1.25. They have packages of walnuts, just an individual packet. So again, if you're a family of 1 or 2 and you don't want to buy a big amount of these things, these are the things that you can get maybe at a local store like that you don't have to invest a lot of money into buying a big bag of something you might not actually use. Think of these things that you can get. Flour. Flour is not that expensive and can stretch so far. You can make scones with it. You can make muffins and biscuits and all kinds of stuff with it. Oh boy, did I give you some ideas? I hope I did. Any of you that are into sourdough, get your sourdough out and do the same thing with your muffins, your biscuits, your pancakes, your French toast, and all the rest. There you go. There's another avenue of how to make something as well. If you have a favorite fall or winter breakfast idea that I haven't shared, or maybe you do it with a little twist or a little differently, and different parts of the country, I'm in New Jersey, I'm on the East Coast, we do things this way. But Midwest does something different. Texas, you know, you head down south to Florida, California area, Washington State, North Dakota, Wyoming, all these different areas you're going to go, and they make eggs differently, they cook differently, they do meals differently. I'd love to get some ideas for my repertoire of fall and winter breakfast, versatile, inexpensive ideas. I would love to hear from you on ideas that you have. So thank you so much for coming over. If you've lasted this far, thumbs up to you. I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed and you think, hey, she's got some ideas, she's a little interesting, I'd love for you to subscribe and be part of the YouTube family. And again, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for letting me in your home today. We'll catch you all on the next video.